Hi, my name's Ben. I've been a Christian for a long time now, since I was 16, and I've been asked to share my testimony. Hopefully, this is helpful. So yeah, around about that time at 16, I was, I guess, as you can imagine, this stereotypical college-going guy. I was very much into rugby, partying. I guess I was doing all the things that would be anything to do with not actually studying. I think was probably my focus. Yeah, I guess a bit of a tearaway up to no good. And it was around about that time where I met a guy who now at the age of 38 still is one of my best friends. And he became one of my best friends at the time when I was 16. And there was something about him, I knew him before I met him. I knew of him, and I guess it was as I got to know him better during that time that I realised that it became quite evident that he was a Christian, which was bizarre. Something I struggled to get my head around. The fact that he was really popular, really good mate of mine, kicked about in the same groups, played a load of rugby together, and yet he had this thing that was just, he had a sort of a real burning desire for God, if you like, which I found it very fascinating, quite intriguing, and it was around about a time when casually he asked me if I wanted to go to a thing called an Alpha course with him, which was run by his church. Something I'd never heard anything about before, and for those of you who don't know, an Alpha course is like an introduction to Christianity, to God, to Jesus, the Holy Spirit, etc. So I went along to this course, as I said, with a very open heart, and it was probably around about the third or fourth week where we did a session on the Holy Spirit, and yeah, that particular day I remember it even now. The talk was really resonated, and it was quite an interesting concept. The idea that God had sends His Holy Spirit to be with you, to guide you and help you. And I listened to the talk and actually ended up putting my hand up for prayer at the end, and something to this day that I can remember very, very vividly. A real sense of God kind of meeting with me, if you like. Sounds a bit cheesy, and I don't ever expect anyone to appreciate what went on for me that particular day. But I made a decision. I felt like I was really filled with an incredible peace and a real sense of the Holy Spirit. And I changed at that point in time. I decided to become a Christian and turn away from life as I knew it. And I guess without I'm not going to say that I became an angel overnight, and as most Christians will say, Christianity itself is a journey, and you go through hard times and good times, and it's incredible, but it's often a struggle. But I look back on those days, and something absolutely changed in my heart, and I think it was a realization that God is real, and that Jesus did walk this earth, and He loves you, and He loved me, and He loves me, and He cares about me, and He sends His Holy Spirit to be with me. So how am I different now? Life's incredibly different. Clearly, I'm a fair bit older now, but essentially, every day I realise that I can't do life in my own strength, and I rely on God to give me that strength, and I look to the Holy Spirit to fill me, and that gives me an incredible sense of joy, and it gives me an incredible sense of hope. And I think that's one thing that's really important for me in life. Being a Christian, it can be hard, and it isn't the perfect life necessarily, but it's full of hope and full of joy. And when you believe in God and you let God into your life, it fundamentally changes everything. And my life hasn't been the same since at the age of 16 when I went on that Alpha course and gave my life to Christ. Things have been incredible. My outlook on life is very different, and definitely full of hope.